Hiya, and welcome back to Tennis Ace. The game that teaches us that I got nothing. I got nothing. After 90 parts, I have nothing. I can't think of anything. My mind has been drawing a blank for this. Anyways, let's just hop right in. I think it's this one. It's 90. Under the covers, being enveloped by the warmth of Keisuke's body, which can be a bit of a furnace at times, and his gentle, affectionate rubbing of my back, it takes shocking little time before I pass out. Ah yes, we can never truly watch that. Despite still being in the early hours of the morning, it was quite easy to get one of the family vehicles to come pick me up. That part isn't the one that surprised me, however. What did surprise me was seeing Alex waiting for me in the car, as if he fully expected me to call at this time. After the initial pleasantries, the ride home was spent mostly in silence. I could tell from his face that he seemed to want to talk, but Alex knows me better than anyone. I'm sure he could tell from my body language that I wished to be left alone. Upon our arrival to the estate, I waited in my car for Alex to get out of the car and open the door for me. Even gazing upon this house again leaves me feeling wary. Whatever chipper mood I had been in for the past few days was slowly drained the closer we got to this place. Young master, you would do well to hide how you're feeling. Alex, noticing the obvious grimace on my face, reminds me to contain myself a little more. With some of the estate's attendants coming out to receive me after so long away, and with so many of them being either my grandmother's or father's attendants instead of mine, it truly wouldn't be the wisest decision to give them any more ammunition than they already have.
Thank you, Alex. Could you call for some of them to help bring my luggage inside?
As you wish. I hated having to act this way, but observing decorum and respecting one's station was a lot more important now than it had been in years prior. The freedom I'd managed to claw myself was suddenly stolen away from me, and my leash was now shorter than it's ever been. I cannot risk even the most minute slip up. I give the driver my thanks before heading to my room, not wanting to hold him up for much longer. Just because I have to be in this oppressive environment doesn't mean he should be. At the very least, he can return to his other duties without having to be surrounded by so many. Or, well, these are all his coworkers. Maybe he doesn't feel as stifled here as I do. At least when in my room, I have the slightest bit more freedom to be myself. Alex quickly directs the attendants to carry my things to leave them by my bed. I can tell from their faces that they wish to object, probably wanting to use the excuse of sorting through my clothes and putting them away properly as a means to keep an eye on me. But Alex is far too observant for that and quickly shoos them away, leaving only the two of us here. It's Keisuke.
Finally!
I know it is not my place to say, but you don't usually struggle this much to keep your emotions in check.
Yes, well, I got to spend the week away from all this. I forgot how exhausting it was being constantly on edge. Is it still morning?
The way you frame it, you almost make a good thing sound bad.
Don't get me wrong, getting to be away from the house and spending time with Yuichi-san was great, but
It is hard to come back when you know what awaits.
yes.
Understandable. In that case, was it necessary to sneak out so early in the morning?
What? Who says I snuck out?
Wasn't even light out when you called for the car. I sincerely doubt Michimiya was awake at the time.
Okay, fine. Maybe I did sneak out, but I didn't want to be tempted to stay longer.
I hope you at least left some kind of explanation behind.
Of course I did. I'm not a monster.
Good. Quite sensible indeed.
What of grandmother? Should I expect her to grace us with her presence anytime soon? I'm surprised she hasn't yet called for me.
Lady Shoko is away from the estate on a business meeting in Shenzhen. She's not expected back until Thursday. Oh, hell yeah! I'm gonna hydrate just for that. Hydration. Maybe if you insult her enough.
Shenzhen? Was father not supposed to be the one heading there?
There has been a. My eyes quickly snap to the doorway the moment I hear a knock. Instinctively, my body tenses up and I clench my jaw, holding my breath for half a second before a subtle look from Alex snaps me back to normal. I get up on my feet, taking a quick breath before nodding to the wolf, letting him know to open the door. I got beef with you two. Mm-mm. Get the hell out. Get the hell out. No ma'am, no ham, no turkey. Mm-mm. Get the fuck out. Get out. Because you're a spineless bitch, and you're just a bitch. No sooner had he opened the door than two familiar figures stepped into my room, not even bothering to first ask to be allowed in. Excuse me, I'm sorry for the intrusion so early in the morning, but I heard you were back and I wanted to greet you, son. If you're sorry for intruding, then don't intrude. I grind my teeth for a few seconds, trying my best to maintain a cool attitude and a neutral face. Do not let your displeasure show now.
Good morning, Father. Glad it's me to see you are well.
That's. Are you sure you are quite well, Keisuke? Takes every ounce of restraint in my body to keep myself from glaring at the old man, but I somehow manage it.
I am quite well, yes. Merely tired from the trip and the competition. That aside, however, what are you doing here, Father? We're not supposed to be in Shenzhen? And is Kuroda not supposed to be with Lady Chiyoko?
Make sure to emphasize the title, my eyes landing upon the fox as I do. I probably sound a little more spiteful than I should, but at this point, this is the best I can manage. Yes. Well, there was a slight change of plans. The shareholders have been buzzing about our numbers for the quarter and got the board of directors involved, so I stayed behind to deal with them. Your grandmother has a good rapport with our associates in Shenzhen, so I asked her to negotiate with them in my place. Crota stayed to assist as she has enough attendance of her own.
I see. It seems you've been busy, Father.
Quite, yes. Since I got word of your arrival, I wanted to see how you were doing before leaving for work. How was your competition?
Enlightening, in many ways.
Would you care to elaborate?
I would not, no.
I see. For a brief second, a look that I could almost interpret as sadness flashes across Father's face, but as soon as it appeared, it was gone. From the corner of my eye, I can notice Alex tensing up. I know him well enough to understand the meaning he wants to convey. Contain your emotions. I'm sorry, Alex is the best that I can do at the moment.
If that is all, would you care to be on your way, Father? As I said, I am tired.
Well, Father glances at Kuroda for a brief moment, the two of them sharing some kind of understanding look before Kuroda turns to Alex. My. There are quite a few bags. Wait, no. I gotta. What the. Hang on. I will be back in a minute. And I'm back. My. There are quite a few bags here. Should those not be tidied up so the young master can get a proper rest?
That's...
Very well. I believe you still remember how the young master's clothes are to be organized, yes? Don't be ridiculous, Drake! It would not do to put away the young master's clothes now, crinkled as they are. Come, help me take these to the laundry.
Alex.
The wolf raises a hand, gesturing for me to stop before grabbing as many of my bags as he can carry. Quite a bit more than Kuroda, and walking away with them, leaving only my rackets and general gear behind. Master, young master, please excuse us for a moment. Should we have some tea prepared as well on our way back? Ah, yes, that would be lovely. Thank you, Alexander. The two quickly head out, leaving me more than a little bewildered by the suddenness of it all. It's not as if Alex doing some attendant work is not unusual, as he doesn't have much bodyguarding to do on at the estate, but is my temper really flaring up so badly that he'd come up with an excuse to get Kuroda out of the room? Or is it simply his way of telling him to calm down? What a headache.
Great.
I sit back on my bed, cradling my head as I try my best not to show my frustration show. To let my frustration show at. Not that I am doing a very good job of it. I'm glad to see how protective Alexander is of you. Despite Father's attempts to say something nice, I still remain on guard against him. This isn't a man that is nice, just for the sake of it. Whatever strings come with it, I don't want them. Hang on, I'll be right back. And I'm back. Sorry, shit's happening. Whatever strings come with it, I don't want them. I watch him carefully.
Why do we hate this dickhead again? Could anyone tell me?
He kinda ripped Keisuke away from his mother. For no fucking reason. Trying to come up with some kind of excuse or reason to get him out of my room. It would be easier if he were acting unreasonable or belligerent. That's not his style. He's always been the kind of be fake nice while giving me ultimatums or tasks I need to do. Always pretending like he doesn't want to or that he regrets doing it. But I'm not stupid, I can see through that. Instead, he looks around my room in silence for a while, his lips curling ever so slightly into what almost looks like a longing smile. I have no idea what goes through that man's head. Everything seems quite put together. You're a lot less messier than I was when I was your age.
Hard to be messy when you have attendants, butlers, and maids constantly cleaning up after you wherever you go.
Well, yes, but also no. I always seem to find a way. The old man laughs somewhat awkwardly, though whether that's his attempt to lighten the mood or not, I can't honestly tell.
What do you want, Father?
Do I truly need a reason to want to see my son?
That has been the trend so far.
Father sighs, looking around the room once more before hesitantly walking up to me and sitting next to me on the bed. I immediately scoot a little further away when he does. Keisuke, I know that this is difficult, but you need to be a little more careful about how you've been carrying yourself.
Ah, there it is. The lecture we all knew was coming. So what is this about? Have you not been licking the Urushiha's family's boots enough as of late? Will our poor ancestors from the time of Ashikaga shogunate be upset with me?
Keisuke. Father sighs, looking shockingly helpless as he bites his lower lip, side-eyeing me with apprehension.
Yes, sir. What hoop do you need me to jump through this time?
Keisuke, there are no hoops. That's not what this is about. I told you several times before, I really am trying my best to protect you.
And I told you as well that I really do not believe you.
Be that as it may, you know your grandmother is only looking for an excuse to attack you. The fault may be mine as to why she looks at you that way, but it doesn't change the fact that you need to play things smarter. It doesn't matter how much you achieve when your attitude while doing it continues to set her off.
Oh, please. Let's be honest for a second and acknowledge that my attitude makes no difference here. You're the one who wants me here since you can't make it work with any other woman long enough to get a proper heir, and she is the one who wants me gone. No matter how I act, that much isn't going to change.
You're not wrong. Your grandmother is incorrigible on that front. No matter how much I've begged her not to act that way. Somehow I can't imagine you doing much begging for her to, pretty please, not make my life so miserable.
Either way, it is only fair that I be allowed to do as I please during my free time considering all I have to do for the corporation even before taking over.
Normally I would agree with you, and if your situation were any different, I'd say you get more leeway, but
By my situation, you mean the fact that she hates me for being a bastard, no?
Father's eyebrow twitches. For the first time, I think I see his attempts at maintaining an amicable expression crumble entirely. Although I can see just how practiced he is at maintaining a measured smile. For the briefest second, I can see his expression noticeably darken as his nostrils flare. The corner of his mouth twitches and his brow furrows. I don't even bother hiding my own delight at the sight, enjoying the small chance to get under his skin. Don't talk like that. It's disrespectful.
Disrespectful? To whom, I wonder?
Keisuke, I mean it. I know it is a lot, but you mustn't give your grandmother any more ammunition to antagonize you with.
I haven't done anything out of the ordinary. You were the one that gave me permission to leave the estate for a while.
When you asked for a couple days, I didn't think you'd be gone for nearly 2 weeks.
My apologies. Maybe I ought to have been more specific.
Keisuke, this isn't something to be so flippant about.
Worry not. I promise to reflect on my actions properly. In the meantime, shouldn't you get going, Father? You wouldn't want to leave the board waiting, would you?
Looking away, Father sighs, getting up from the bed and looking around the room once again. Yes, that probably wouldn't be the best idea. I shall get going now. Take care of yourself, Keisuke.
I always do.
I watch Father leave my room after saying his last farewells. Only then do I manage to relax and breathe once more. I don't know what purpose his warning served, but I do know I don't trust a word he says. Letting myself fall back onto my bed, I sigh once more, now wishing I were back at Yuichi's place. I'd nearly forgotten what it meant to be at ease somewhere. That's not a feeling I'll soon forget, and that only makes being back here much more difficult. While I'm stuck pondering my options at the moment, the sound of the door snaps me back to reality, and when I look at it, I see Alex arriving pushing a tea trolley with the usual implements on it. I see Master Saga has left. Kuroda left me halfway to your room and followed after him as well.
I see.
Oh, hiya. Would you still like the tea the master ordered?
Yes, please, with a bit of honey. Would you mind joining me for a bit as well, Alex?
As you wish. I had the chefs prepare a few different sandwiches to go with the tea. Would you like one?
Oh? Do we have shrimp and watercress?
Of course.
You sure are great at remembering my preferences.
It is the least I could do, young master.
Ugh, I just praise you. Could you not start with that?
As you wish, my lord.
You're impossible.
A few hours later. Everything of mine hurts. Unlike yesterday where my body simply felt too heavy to move, today all I feel is pain. I don't remember ever being this sore before. How the hell did I manage to push myself that much in just a couple matches? Normally I wouldn't even bother getting out of bed today, but one thing was amiss that I couldn't ignore. Ah! I swear I can't with this guy. Who the hell skulks out at 4 in the damn morning? I'm shocked he's even awake at that time, let alone taking all his bags and leaving. Even if I can understand why he did it, the whole thing still seems a little odd to me. Who wouldn't feel weird if they spent the night with someone and woke up to find that person vanished during the night?
Morning.
Morning, Aki!
Where's Keisuke-san? Is he still in your room?
Nope! Left in the middle of the night. All he left me was a message.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. That's all you have to say about it. Doesn't anything about that seem wrong to you?
Maybe. It just seems very Keisuke-san to me.
I hate to agree here, but he does have a point. Don't make me any less annoyed by the whole thing.
I see. Do you want some breakfast?
At least pretend like you care about what I have to say. Sheesh! You're offering me breakfast? You cooked? Even I can make jam on toast. Oh, so the answer is no. Sure, I'll take some, I guess. I don't really feel up to cooking today. Okay, give me a sec. Aki gets up from the couch, heading to the kitchen to cook some breakfast for me. Hang on. I swear... Why the fuck do you do this? Hang on, I'm turning on the fucking webcam. I'm turning on the webcam. Because something, a little certain someone, decided to sneak in again when he knows he's not allowed in here. Get over here, little asshole. This fucker. You know you're not allowed in here. What the hell? What the hell, man? No. It's a cat. It's a cat. This is my cat. And he is an asshole. What the hell, buddy? You're not allowed in here. You know what? The orange motherfucker has breached containment. I'm gonna go let him out. Okay. Go play. Alrighty, he is. That's the thing. I don't know how he keeps getting in. It's at the point I'm genuinely impressed. Aki gets up from the couch, heading to the kitchen to cook some breakfast for me. I lazily follow behind him, struggling not to whimper with every step. TikTok LED stripes. Hey, those LED lights are amazing. Are you doing okay? Your face is all contorted and weird. My whole body hurts!
Yeah. I guess after today that would make sense. I'll take care of the chores today, don't worry about it.
While the sentiment is quite nice and appreciated, that only makes me worry more. Yeah, I've had that feeling before. I should probably take a warm bath to help soothe my muscles before doing some quick work around the house. If I leave it all to Aki, I'm afraid of how he could mess some things up. If I put Aki in charge of making lunch, there is a non-zero possibility that something may catch on fire. I was initially planning on vegging out in my room today after Keisuke left in the morning, but since his sudden departure in the middle of the night, that rattled me enough to get out. Might as well get some stuff done. Wait, don't tell me you've been buttering the bread before you put it in the toaster.
I have. Makes more golden that way.
Aki! How has this kid not started a grease fire yet? For the few days since coming back to school, I struggled a bit to switch back to normal mode. Not only did I get swarmed first thing in the morning on Monday, but I've been feeling extra stiff and spacey to the point even coach dismissed me from practice yesterday. It's not like I'm a stranger to accumulated fatigue, but this much of it in a single day of competition is insane. The most frustrating part is that I got a glimpse of how much I can still improve, but my body can't handle the strain of playing at that kind of level. What the hell? Having the body I've been blessed with and that's always given me an advantage compared to my peers suddenly became the thing that is holding me back. It's so frustrating it makes me want to scream! Saya, Shoichi, Jun, and Keisuke all tried cheering me up, but the truth is I'm just bitter. My foul mood is more than obvious to everyone around me. Even my classmates and clubmates keep uttering words of encouragement, but they feel so fucking hollow right now. I need to get better. I absolutely refuse to forget the frustration I felt during this competition. There's just no way I can do that. On the other hand, having my sadness and disappointment turn into determination and frustration is far from the worst result I can muster. I feel a lot better today, to the point I'm even confident I could get back to work on my form. So as soon as class ends, I'm going straight to Coach Mikado and Michimiya-kun. Oh, yeah? Hearing my name being called out rather sharply. Like I've said! Please read the next sentence on your textbook. The English teacher, a lean otter in her mid-40s with a somewhat shrill voice, despite her usual sweet demeanor, sighs as she gives me her instructions, eliciting a few snickers from my classmate. Hey, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up, classmates. Sorry, but... What page are we on again? Right away, my response seems to confirm her initial impression as she sighs again, shaking her head. The whole thing seems to make even more students laugh, leaving me wanting to crawl under my table right now. Page 147, paragraph 4. Now would you please stop doodling on your notebook and pay attention to class? Yes, ma'am. Sorry, ma'am. Kill me. Picking up my textbook, I sheepishly shut my notebook closed, only giving one last glance at my ideas for training regimens and notes before I do so. Drive is good, but it'll be terrible if I can't focus on anything else. Seriously, she didn't have to call me out like that. Oh shit, new Shoichi sprites. I want to give him a little kiss. Yeah, we get it. It was so embarrassing and all. I had sympathy for you the first time you mentioned it, man. But you keep zoning out when we're only talking... But you keep zoning out when we're talking only to whine about it over and over. Enough! Please! You want to try what now? Axel, what do you want to try? I'm a little scared. Hang on. I want to see if I can do something. Damn it, I can't do something. What? I'm not that bad, am I? Keisuke? I look around the table at my friends' faces. Most of them either entirely avoiding my gaze or staring at me with pity instead of sympathy. Finally, I land on my boyfriend, hoping for some backup, but...
I, am not part of this conversation.
Traitor! It wasn't that. Most everyone forgot about it a few minutes later. You're making too big a deal out of it. You want to put butter on bread before toasting it. That is how you burn your house down. That is how you burn your house down. That is how you burn your house down. That is going to start a grease fire, my guy. Don't do that. House fire, your favorite breakfast, oh no. Of course I am. It was mortifying. What a drama queen. Excuse me? If you don't mind my changing the subject. God, please. What were you doing that you were so distracted? You seem fine now. At least compared to the last couple days. Are you still feeling out of it? No, it's not that. I feel fine now. I was just hyper-focused on something else.
Something else? Like what?
You were doodling on your notebook an awful lot. I wasn't doodling. I was writing. Yeah, well, whatever. We were doing live reading exercises. There was nothing for you to write. Ugh, I hate this. I hate all of this. I was working on some ideas to change my training regimen. What I'm struggling on and need to improve. Potential exercises and routines to improve those areas. What the most optimal way to improve as many of them as fast as possible are. Things like that. I pull my notebook out of my bag, pushing my half-eaten lunch aside to flip all the pages until I land on the right one. Inside it, there are a few pages with some quickly scribbled tables listing what exercises to perform on which days. The intensity, for how long, potential replacements or alternatives, descriptions of my goals, my weaknesses, everything I could think of. Admittedly, the whole thing is a bit of a mess since I half-assed it in a single morning without having time to double-check or look for references. But even so, I think it's at least a little interesting. What? However, their reactions are nothing like I expected. I thought I'd get a few nice comments thrown my way, maybe some acknowledgement and some praise. Instead, those with any kind of sport-related knowledge instantly freeze looking at my notes. You did this during class. Like, this morning. Yeah? Why?
This is crazy detail. I don't even recognize some of these drills you have listed. What the hell is this supposed to be?
Keisuke points to a specific line of the notebook. Oh, that one is for working on grip strength. Stamina is a pretty obvious issue to point at, but I also noticed I struggle absorbing and controlling the impact of trickier shots. It gets worse as I get more tired, but in general it creates an issue since I can't transfer enough force to the ball. Not to mention that having tighter aim would make landing winners easier.
You can think of all this kind of stuff?
Well, yeah. You don't?
That's a lot.
I gotta say, I'm impressed. You seem like you have nothing going on in that head of yours when you play. I didn't think you considered all that stuff. What's with the backhanded compliment? It's not a backhand compliment at all. I don't think of those things either, so I'm honestly impressed. Funny way of saying it. Either way, Yuichi, this is crazy detailed. I think you should run it by your coach first. But it's really amazing you're able to come up with all this stuff on the fly. It is? I've been playing for years, not to mention studying on my own, so I could better understand adjustment to my training routines, drills, diet, etc. I would consider this kind of thing normal for any player. Not at all. This is more coach territory. A lot of people are like me and mostly play on instinct.
Yeah, and even if they're more like me, where they study the game, that applies more to on-the-court strategies. This is something else entirely already. Something else already. Like, I know most of these, but it doesn't mean I can whip out a training plan, diet, and a full schedule in a morning.
Huh. I don't really see what the big deal here is. I consider all of this pretty basic.
I have to admit, this does make me feel a tiny bit better.
Better? What do you mean?
Well, you do remember what I told you at the park after our match, right?
Oh. To be honest, that conversation had been pushed to the back of my mind with everything that went on during the finals, followed by me trying to recover after it, but yeah, of course I still remember.
I can tell from your face that you do. Either way, yeah. Hearing that you put this much thought into things does make me feel a bit better.
Well, it's not like I'm actively thinking of all this stuff while I'm playing. It's more like,
I know you internalize all of it over the years so you can move and act on instinct based on the knowledge you have, but that's just the thing. You have the instinct because you learned all of it. You know it so deeply that you can do it without having to think too much about it. It's not like you're some kind of weird wild animal that moves and does absurdly good without knowing what it's doing. It's been encouraging in some way to know that even you have to put in that kind of effort.
of course I do. It's not like I'd be able to play without it. You're wrong, Yuichi-san. It's like I said earlier, learning how to play isn't the same as learning how to train. You can learn what your specific regimen is or the drills on their own, but having the knowledge to know what it is you should do to achieve your results without having negative results or hurting yourself, how to adjust your diet, etc., it goes beyond just the knowledge of the game. Oh, are we putting cats in the dungeon? Are we putting them in the dungeon? Hydration time. Dungeon! I see. I never gave it much thought. It's something I learned because I thought it was fun and I wanted to know how to do it. Plus, after I left my private club, I couldn't count on having the individualized level of coaching I had back then. I had hockey help whenever I can, and I also help hockey whenever I can. So that makes sense. You've always been pretty independent when it comes to this kind of thing. Not to mention how gung-ho he gets about doing things if it's for Aki-kun's sake. I can totally see Yuichi learning how to coach well for the sole purpose of helping Aki. I'm not that bad. Come on. No one's saying it's a bad thing.
If you're so consumed by tennis that you're zoning out during class, not being allowed to practice for the last few days must have been torture for you.
Oh, absolutely. If he tells me I'm not allowed today either, I'll get pissed. I don't think he'd stop you unless you look like you're going to hurt yourself. I'm fine now. There's no reason why I shouldn't practice. I have to admit, seeing this kind of attitude change in you is definitely a bit weird. What's that supposed to mean? Are you kidding? You're the guy that usually runs away from practice, not toward it. Once again, I'm not that bad. What's with these unconvinced looks? You guys are breaking my heart here. You've, got a lot better about it this year, at least. The first day of class notwithstanding. Oh, come on, that was a million years ago.
3 months, actually. Almost to the day, too.
Whose side are you on?
The side of accuracy.
I will accurately kick your ass later, just you wait. You know, it was a little funny seeing you get called out in the middle of class earlier. People can literally fall asleep or play games during class without many repercussions, but you were somehow mumbling and shuffling around so much that you managed to piss off the teacher more than any of those people. And I should know, I'm usually one of them. That's not something to be proud of, man. For someone that looks and acts so innocent, you have a pretty masochistic sense of humor sometimes.
That's...
Yeah, that's not right at all. What are you talking about?
Even I know the word you're looking for is sadistic, Yuichi-san. Masochist is the complete opposite.
What? No way. I use the right word. Right, Shoichi? Yeah, even I can't back you up here. I have no clue how you managed to mix those two up. Seriously?
I could recommend a few really good English tutors if you're struggling this much towards loan words.
I'm fine. It's just a tiny slip of the tongue, that's all. Hopefully you won't have these kinds of slips when you move to America. That would be embarrassing. This is why I keep telling you to put more effort into learning English! Jeez! You can barely speak yourself. You have no room to talk. Hey! At least I'm better than him!
And that's debatable.
Even I've been trying my best to learn German for the past year. It's kind of scary how nonchalant you two are being about this. But I literally never see you study.
We're not taught German in school, so when would you see me studying it?
Oh, that's kind of a good point.
You know, I could recommend you a few really good German tutors if you need some help.
Do you have every single foreign language teacher in the Kanto region on speed dial or something? Thanks, but I doubt I'll be able to afford any kind of tutoring service you use, Keisuke-san.
I'll have to concede that point to you.
In the end, I get so absorbed in the conversation that I forget to finish my lunch before the bell rang, forcing me to scarf it all down as fast as possible to avoid going hungry. At least the atmosphere around the room is still pretty good. I've been really out of it lately, so I haven't kept up with how Keisuke's been doing. Aren't they speaking English right now? Think of it like English dubbed anime. Think of it like that. Like, yes, technically through me, they are speaking English, I guess. But at the end of the day, but in universe, yeah, they're speaking Japanese. It's really sucky of me to have forgotten the entire conversation we had over the weekend. I should really follow up with him on it. And a few other things as well. A few hours later, I don't fucking trust it! I don't trust it! LMAO Yuichi. Yas. Alright, let me adjust my mic. Actually, I can just talk like this. By the time the bell rang, I could barely contain myself anymore, speeding out of the classroom and power walking straight to the locker room. Truth be told, I couldn't wait anymore to get some practice. I haven't felt this kind of enthusiasm in a while, and I want to ride out that feeling for as long as I can. Thanks to that, I'm one of the first people here, giving me the chance to get changed quickly before anyone else can show up. Granted, while I'm still somewhat embarrassed of getting changed in front of others, it hasn't felt like much of a big deal lately. I wonder why that is. Having finished dressing myself, I promptly close the locker door, putting away anything I won't need to take with me into the courts. Few people start flickering into the rooms as I'm nearly done, but it doesn't bother me as much as it used to.
Oh, you aren't early today, Yuichi.
Yeah, I guess I am.
Are you that anxious to start practicing?
I guess so. Okay, good night. I guess so.
That's good. I'd much rather see you like this than dejected as you were before.
I was dejected?
You mean you didn't realize? You were very unmotivated for the past few days.
Was I? I feel like I was more out of it than anything. Keisuke undresses, neatly folding and putting away his uniform before he even picks up his training outfit. Then again, that neat, organized attitude is very much like him in the first place.
Either way, it's so gladdening to see you feeling better. Here's to a very fruitful practice session.
Good luck to you too. Maybe we should finish the day off with a practice match after we finish our own drills.
I'd be happy to. Oh, and that also reminds me. As you know, I have access to quite a few useful facilities. Maybe come over to my place over the weekend. We can practice and play each other at one of the courts we have.
Really? That sounds like a great idea. Would your family be okay with it, though?
At this point, I am past caring what they think.
You sent a link in the Discord for when you graduate. Hey man, I'll show up. Assuming I'm awake, yeah, I'll show up.
At this point, I'm past caring what they think.
That's not an ideal train of thought. Didn't you spend all that time in my place because they were making your life hell? Shouldn't you at least be a little more careful after that? If you're really sure.
Don't worry, it will be fine. Besides, you want to get some more playtime in, don't you?
I do. I really, really do.
Then it's settled. I'll have a car pick you up Saturday morning. We can make a day of it.
Sure, it's a date.
I'll see you on the courts then. Then, if you excuse me.
Hang on a second, there's one other thing I wanted to ask you about.
What is it?
You remember what we talked about during the trip, about us telling everyone once we got about,
Ah, that. What of it?
Is it really okay with you?
Of course it is. Said from the beginning that it wasn't a problem for me. I don't mind if you tell our friends. Just make sure you let me know once you do so I don't accidentally let anything slip.
Thanks. Glad you're so understanding.
Why wouldn't I be?
You talk as if this kind of thing were super simple. And I guess for someone of your stature it might be, but I don't know. I don't expect our friends to treat us differently for it, but not everyone is like that. Fair enough, I'll let you know if I tell someone. Are you sure you don't want to be there when I do, though?
Nah, I don't really care either way. It is a much bigger deal for you than it is for me, so I'll let you do the honors.
Thanks.
Very well. Now, is there something else?
Nah, I'm all good. Let's go.
Certainly.
And bye-bye censor. We can say bye to the censor. Yeah, that's very illegal. Yeah. Keisuke and I headed into the courts together, seeing very few of our club mates around thanks to our early arrival. We quickly split up, with Keisuke putting away his bag on a nearby bench and beginning his warm-up routine while I seek out our coach. Despite his large stature, it takes me a couple seconds to find him, to the point I begin to wonder if he'd bothered showing up today at all. Thankfully, my concerns turned out to be unnecessary, and I find him crouching behind a post on one of the courts, adjusting the tension on the netting. Good afternoon. Noticing me, the crocodile cracks up a smile and gets back on his feet, nodding and returning to the greeting. Good afternoon, Yuichi-kun. Feeling better today, I hope? I wouldn't want to have to send you home 2 days in a row. No, I'm fine today. I was actually hoping I could talk to you about my training regimen, if you don't mind. Oh? That's a pleasant surprise. Ask away. 1 second. I placed my bag on the ground, quickly opening it to grab my notebook. I made a few notes on things I think I need to work on and the ideas I had for it. I think my stamina and my grip strength are my main problems right now, but I also wasn't too happy with how much I struggled to place my shots when hitting my backhand flats. So that's something else I think I need to work on. The crocodile blinks a few times, peering over my shoulder as I walk him through my ideas and the changes I thought of to address my issues, staying surprisingly silent the whole time. It is only when I'm done talking through the whole thing that he finally speaks up. You really thought things through quite a bit. You even take into account that some gym equipment might build up the wrong muscle groups. Yeah, for those I'll definitely need someone to help me with the machines so that I can avoid doing the parts that might develop the wrong muscles. Right, there are also different exercises you can do that wouldn't require the use of machines. They might be less time efficient, but since you can do them at home and wouldn't need someone else to tag along, it might be easier to find time for it. Really? Yes, not every player has access to a gym or to places with top-of-the-line equipment or even two assistant coaches. For those that live in areas without this kind of infrastructure, it's very important to learn how to do the most you can with what you have. You've never had to go through that, but it doesn't mean you wouldn't benefit from learning it. Here. Crocodile takes my notebook, grabbing a pen from his breast pocket and writing down a few corrections and suggestions on the margins of the pages. I try to keep up with it, but just as Keisuke mentioned earlier, I don't recognize the name of several of these drills. I did a brief stint as a player in a somewhat poor area of Guangzhou. I think. I probably butchered that. There are quite a few futures and challenger levels events there, so lower-ranked players without much in terms of income flock there and live in shared accommodations, helping each other practice however they can. I wrote down some diagrams on how to perform several of these. Of course, I can also run through them with you to serve as examples when you are alone. Of course, that'll be great! The crocodile nods, looking around at the courts that are only now beginning to fill up as little more as other students begin to arrive. You work on your training. You work on warming yourself up first and do a few basic drills. I'll check on the other players to make sure everyone is good. Then I'll come back to run through your list with you and make the necessary adjustments. Thank you. I was really proud of the work I did here, but I guess I still have much to learn. Nah, don't beat yourself up. If anything, I'm really impressed with how solid your plan is all around. Just because there's room to improve doesn't mean it isn't great. And I certainly don't expect this kind of knowledge from a high school athlete. You're impressive in a lot of ways, Yuichi-kun. I'm glad to see some initiative from you. Keep it up. Yes, sir. I have to focus hard to keep my tail from wagging. I don't remember ever feeling so happy and excited after talking with him. I wrote Coach Mikado off a long time ago, but lately I've noticed that I let my own biases get in the way of making a fair assessment of him. Sure, he might be a bit hands-off in the way he carries himself as anything but professional. Now that I'm watching him a bit more intently, it's clear that not only does he know his stuff really, really well, but he's also very observant. All the advice he's given me lately was right on the money and showed me how much he's been paying attention to me. But it's not just me. While I'm doing my warm-ups, I can see him stopping those players that seem to need help but don't speak up about it, answering those that consult him, finding places in the building where he can watch from afar and keep an eye on as many people as possible. I used to think that when he did that, I was trying to slip away and hide from his... He was trying to slip away and hide from his duties, but maybe he's been watching out for everyone this whole time. He even admitted that bringing Morisaki-senpai and our former seniors back was a last-ditch effort to get me more involved in practice, while also upping everyone else's level by giving them better practice partners. Usually I'd feel bitter and frustrated when being proven wrong, but I don't anymore. I'll admit, I have a newfound respect for him. He's not the kind that gives you all the answers, but that doesn't mean he's disengaged. He encourages players to think for themselves and develop independence without neglecting them either, always taking their needs and personalities into account to tailor his guidance to each specific player. And that's a kind of approach I'd never seen before, but I can't say it doesn't work. Sir, I really am sorry for everything over the last few years. I promise I'll find a way to say it properly to you. Until then, I have to work hard so I can be worth the time he's spending helping me now. How many days are there? My God! Girl! Hold up. I gotta know. So let me just find out real quick. Because girl, there's a lot. I have to admit, this is a thick update. Fuck. Wrong file. Hang on. Hang on. That's the thing. This is the third update day. I'll need that. There's usually like there's like 3. So let me get this real quick. Oh, my laptop's gonna lag. Right there. Okay, let me figure out. And it doesn't say. Son of a bitch. True to his word, Keisuke had a car ready and waiting for me 5 minutes before the time he said they'd pick me up. I guess in the circumstances he was raised under, being early is preferable to being late. Not that I can fault them for that, but knowing the car was waiting for me outside definitely had me feeling a bit rushed for time. I even tried making conversation with the driver, but he gave me mostly factual one-word answers to everything, guaranteeing the whole trip would be as silent and awkward as possible. Instead, I eventually whipped out my notebook and began scribbling on it once more. Thanks to Coach Mikado's instructions and ideas, I'm brimming with inspiration once again. I went to the gym daily for the last 3 days, doing any exercises I was capable of performing on my own, while also taking his suggestions of alternatives I could do without other people in my free time. I've even started waking up an hour and a half earlier in the morning so I can jog and get some exercises in, as well as doing some lighter ones before bed. My body is a bit sore and stiff from the increase in frequency in my exercising, but it feels good in a way. Mikado-san has even started hovering around me a little more often to make corrections and tell me to take it a bit easier when he's worried I might get hurt. Feels good. Once the car is properly parked in front of the estate, which is still just as impressive now as it was the first time I came over, I see a shadow come up to the window from outside, opening it for me and gesturing for me to step out. Good morning, Michimiya-san. Kuroda? While I promptly recognized Alexander's figure as the one who opened the door for me, what I did not expect was to see the older brown fox in tow. I looked from Kuroda to Alexander, noticing the slight furrowing of the wolf's brow the moment Kuroda spoke up while otherwise remaining silent. Yes, why are you so surprised to see me? I work here after all. Lady Chiyoko asked me to make sure the young master's esteemed guest would be well received. I... Ignore him. The young master is expecting you on the courts out by the courtyard. I shall take you to the changing room. Please and thank you. In that case, let me handle your luggage. Before I can speak up, the fox grabs my bags from the back of the car and starts on his way to what I assume is the changing room. Alexander lets out a barely perceptible sigh, but otherwise follows behind him without many issues. He doesn't seem very happy to still be working with him, that much is for sure. Having led me to the changing room as he said he would, Alexander and the fox wait outside for me to get dressed and ready, even going to the point of taking my clothes to be washed while Keisuke and I played. Tried arguing against it since I'd only just put them on, but the fox merely smiled and dismissed me. Or at least Alexander seemed more at ease with them gone afterwards.
Yuichi, just in time. Thank you for bringing him here, Alex.
Despite me nearly getting lost several times on the way due to my sheer shock and wonder seeing all the area and facilities they have around the back, Alex still manages to bring me to Keisuke without any issues, with us walking and just as he seems to be finishing his warm-ups. Of course. You have all this around the back of your house? This is insane! I already knew the place was enormous from the front, but I hadn't gone around the back before. How could a single family have all this? You might as well need a car just to move around in your own home.
Of course. Really, is it really that surprising given what you know of my family?
Yes. It's fucking ridiculous if I'm being honest. Why do you even need to bother joining a school tennis club when you have all of this at home?
Well, I can't play by myself now, can I?
I'm pretty sure you could hire tutors and pay for people to play against you.
Sure, that was an option that even my father brought up, but it's also pointless. Getting to practice with and play against my peers is much preferable to that.
Is it? I don't see how it would be.
Plus, you know what part of my reasons for joining Minamikawa were.
Oh, I suppose that's true. So like Keisuke could have gotten to play with me otherwise, and he did say he wanted to be in the same club as I was. I would have minded being paid the big bucks to be a regular practice partner to a rich dude when I was in junior high, though. But yeah, I'll agree that this is way better since it meant I got to know Keisuke. Do you need me to fetch you something in the meantime?
No, she'll be fine, Alex. You can take a seat and wait there if you want.
Very well. Enjoy your practice.
Thank you.
Once dismissed, Alexander promptly walks towards a bench by the entrance, though he still chooses to stand watch there rather than sitting. He's a dutiful guard as ever, I see. Will he be okay waiting there the whole time?
Even if he wouldn't, it's not as if I could get him to leave.
Good point. What about Kuroda, though? I thought you said he was no longer working for you. He said something about your grandmother wanting to make sure I arrived well or something?
Yes. That. Seems their surveillance over me has tightened a little since I've returned. Then again, none of this is new. If anything, I would say they're merely being more obvious about something they already did, if it's not a big deal.
How can any of this be referred to as not a big deal? I've known it for a while, but you really do live in a whole other world from me, don't you?
Either way, that's enough about that. How about you get started on your warm-ups?
Sure. To be honest, I feel like just a walk here from the front yard was enough of a warm-up. Then again, you could never be too warmed up. My usual warm-up routine is only about 15 or so minutes, so it shouldn't take too long. I'll do a little bit less cardio than usual to do the walk over here, and we'll focus more on flexibility and stretching to make sure I'm all good to go. I also have to be mindful of the parts of my body that are still sore since I don't want a repeat of what happened last week. Oh no, Alex does know. God, hard to believe that was only just a weekend ago. Feels like a lot has happened since then. I suppose part of it can be chalked up to a change in perspective. Keisuke helps me a bit with some of my exercising, pressing down on my back when I'm doing forward stretches or helping me force my arms back when I'm working on those. It's pretty good to have as a practice partner. Not only is he knowledgeable and skillful, but he's also patient and diligent with these sorts of things. Which, sure, it can be a pain in the ass when you're being lazy and wanting to cut corners, but it's very helpful when you're actually looking to do things properly. Alright, that should be enough for me.
You sure? Then how about we start with just hitting the ball back and forth for a bit? You haven't had many opportunities to play on a grass court recently, have you? It might be a good idea to acclimate before we play.
I agree.
Alex, could you call a couple attendants to be on ball duty?
Understood. I'll be right back. Attendance on ball duty? Oh god, I'm going to be on edge the whole time I'm here, aren't I? It's okay, Yuichi. Just think of them as regular ball boys from an official match. Keisuke and I both pick up a few balls, stuffing them in our pockets while we each head to different sides of the court. He's the first to toss a ball in the air and top it over to my side of the court, similarly to an underhand serve, allowing us to initiate a slow-paced rally of sorts. Just like he said, I haven't played in grass in a while. Not only is the ground much softer, making it absorb part of the impact when running in lowering the amount of spring in my step, but the ball slides a lot more with very low bounces. Compared to most courts in Japan, which are either clay or hard courts, it's a very different experience. I'll be the first to admit they're not my favorite type of court to play in, but for someone who's aiming to go pro, you can't be absolutely terrible at them either. At some point midway through our little exchange, a handful of attendants, all dressed in similar clothing to Alex, appear, taking position around the court like they're used to doing this. I suppose it makes some sense. My momentary distraction allows a ball to slip by me, which one of them promptly catches before Keisuke restarts to rally. He's so at ease in this kind of environment. He might complain a lot about his home life and his family situation, but he really is the son of a rich family through and through. Still, I do my best to push those kinds of thoughts out of my head. Last thing I need right now is to be distracted. I want to get into the same state of mind I was in last week. I want to feel at my best again like I did that day. I need to get used to that kind of burden on my body if I want to be able to progress further.
Okay, this should be enough for a friendly exchange.
From a side of the court, Keisuke lets the ball hit his racket in an angle so that it may bounce toward his hand, catching it and raising an arm to gesture to me. We both approach the net so we can hash out the details of our practice match.
Should we play a best of 3 sets?
We have the most of the day to practice, no? We can just take a set at a time until we've run out of juice.
Sure, that works for me too. What do you say to us making things a little more interesting, though?
Interesting? What do you mean?
A friendly wager, of course.
Like, a bet?
Yes.
Sure, what did you have in mind?
Well, me betting on my victory is a non-starter in the first place. I threw everything I had and more at you last week, knowing that once I used those strategies, they would never work on you again, and you still demolished me. I'd say the gap between us has been made more than clear.
Sorry.
Don't be. Instead, how about we bet on which of us runs out of stamina first?
That's a strange bet. How would we even measure that?
It's pretty simple. It's not unusual for one of us to tire out and collapse on the floor when we're practicing. Of course, we usually give ourselves a couple minutes to get up and get back to it until we absolutely can't anymore. Let's just say that the first one to sit down or collapses loses. Until then, we're not allowed to sit down at all, even during side changes or breaks.
That's a pretty Spartan bet you thought of, man.
Is it? You said it yourself that stamina is something you need to prioritize working on. That's why I would think this might be beneficial to you, no?
I guess so. I can't really argue with that.
Great, I shall take your silence as agreement.
Hang on a second. What will we be wagering?
Nothing too fancy. It's just for fun after all. How about... Yes, I know. We'll make it so the loser has to obey one absolute order of the winner.
What kind of bet is that?
A pretty simple one, really. Whoever wins gets to make an order that the loser must obey. Whatever they want, really. Say, I could tell you to do my homework for me, or maybe to buy me lunch. You could perhaps tell me to take you on a date, sing you a song. Simple and easy, no?
I guess so. Doesn't sound too bad. I guess I'll have to think of what I'll want if I win.
Of course, it'd be no fun if you didn't intend to win.
The idea sounds simple enough, but why does it feel like you're scheming? You have a certain look about you right now that I can't quite place. Am I missing something?
Let's do rock, paper, scissors to see who picks the serve.
Oh yeah, sure. Keisuke is pretty fired up today. Usually fired up by default, but today it seems to be even more noticeable. I wonder what got into him. I've been a little worried about him the past few days, even trying to help him out during practice at school, but he's been waving me off and telling me not to worry so much. Looking at him now, you'd never think there was a problem. But I also know he's pretty good at walling himself off, so I don't know if I can really trust what I can see. Rock, paper, scissors, go! Scissors, paper, rock! As soon as we throw out our little game of RPC, I make sure to call out the chant in the wrong order just to mess with the hair, knowing that with his personality, it would throw him off to hear it like that all of a sudden.
Why did you?
Scissors beats paper, I win!
Wait, you... Huh?
I'll be serving first, if you don't mind.
What? Just...
I leave the bewildered hair behind me, struggling to hold back a chuckle as I do so. Man, his face was totally the best. Throw him off his game is a lot easier than I thought. Oh shit, ad break soon. But hey, after what he pulled last week, he can't complain about me being a little underhanded too. Especially because, in the grand scheme of things, that's nothing more than a tiny little bit of wordplay. Oh no, the ad starts soon. Shall we start?
Yeah, sure.
Keisuke snaps back to reality and scurries into position, raising an arm and giving me the go-ahead to get the game started. Okay, Yuichi, it's time to flip the switch. I know better than anyone what Keisuke is capable of, and I won't do him the disrespect of taking him lightly or going easy on him. With that said, I should really consider how I want to take this. My body is still a little sore from the last few days, and I'm not really used to playing at that kind of fast, demanding pace from before. Should I go in my usual rhythm, or should I try to push myself so I can get used to playing like I did at the tournament finals? I mean, there are merits to both. I want to get used to playing at that level as fast as possible, but there's a concern that I might push myself too far again and hurt myself. Ugh, there's no time to be indecisive. What should we do? We're probably going to wait for the ad to run, and then you all decide. Ads. Ah! I am with you, cats. I am upset that they changed the dinosaur. Alright, time to do the first one. Well, I can't say it would be a terrible idea to try and get used to playing at that higher level from before. There's also a chance I could hurt myself by putting on a burden my body isn't prepared to handle. I better keep things simple instead. It's not as if playing like I usually do is holding back. It just means I'm not forcing myself into playing in a way that is unsustainable at the moment. I'll get there eventually, so there's no need to rush. I start things off by hitting about 70 or 80% of my power into my serve, and slowly dial it up from there as I get the feel of things. That should let me regulate the fine control and keep the ball inbound. As if you were expecting, Keisuke manages to reach the ball without too much strain, probably a result of all the shared practice sessions we had allowing him to get used to it, and fires a strong backhand topspin straight down toward my baseline. Still, this kind of situation is squarely within my comfort zone. Being locked into a battle of ground strokes where I steadily build an advantage with my power until I can either force an error, score a winner is exactly how I want to take it. That allows me to dictate the pace from the very beginning, and while my lead isn't quite as overwhelming as it was last week, it is about on par for every other time Keisuke and I played together. He can keep me on my toes, push me into a few uncomfortable spots, and overall extend the duration of each rally. We're both used enough to each other that no one can claim an advantage from the element of surprise. Oh no. If anything, that exact advantage is what Keisuke bet on everything last week. And I managed to get through it in the end, so now we really are all even in the familiarity level. Keisuke's precise shots are particularly effective the better he knows his opponent, though, and that alone allows him to stay in the game. While I still keep the lead, managing to securely keep my serve every time while breaking Keisuke's every now and again, his tenacious resistance means each and every set lasts for an uncomfortably long time. I can feel the fatigue slowly building, my arms growing stiff, my grip on the racket weakening, my legs feeling heavier. If I were focusing too much on trying to play at a higher level, I'd probably miss all the warning signs like I did last time and blaze past my limits in the blink of an eye. So I make adjustments here and there, trying to play a little smarter, trying to make my swing more compact, trying to restrict the area Keisuke can aim into so I don't have to run as much. It's very slight in each and every time, but it allows me to conserve more of my strength. After all, it doesn't matter how dominant you are in a real match if you collapse and can't continue partway through. Of course, trying to play like that means I can't keep quite as firm of a grip on the match, allowing Keisuke to push back until eventually...
Finally! 6-1!
Having managed to claim the 7th consecutive set, Keisuke raises a hand in celebration of his victory. A gesture that is immediately made hollow by the fact he can't stay on his feet any longer, falling backwards splayed on the ground. Ow! That has to hurt! Are you okay?
I'm fine!
Before I can even try to reach him, Alexander and another attendant have already made their way to the hair, lifting him back up and helping him walk to a nearby bench.
Finally, I did it! I managed to win a set from you, Ichi, without having to rely on tricks!
So why am I making him sound like that? That may be the case, but I can't say I approve of you pushing yourself to such extremes. You can't even walk on your own.
I'll be fine! I just need to catch my breath for a little while.
Why am I doing that voice? You did great, Keisuke. Here, have some water.
Thanks!
Jeez, I'm tired as well, but you look like you're dying. At least try to breathe.
Seriously, Yuichi, are you a robot or something? It shouldn't take me 7 sets and near total exhaustion to be able to eke out a single step from you!
Not that I know of, no. Besides, you're pretty sharp there yourself. You didn't slow down at all, even as you got tired.
Of course I didn't! I couldn't afford to! Otherwise, you'd
Destroy me! That's fair. Though I guess this means I win the bet in the end.
the bet. Huh? You mean the bet?
Yeah, the bet. Did you seriously forget about it?
I
Keisuke.
I was so focused on trying to win once I noticed you tired out that I forgot.
Oh wow, that's what we call winning the battle, but losing the war here. Well, it's not like it's a big deal anyway, it's just a silly bet.
Yeah.
Why am I making him sound like he's fighting for his life on the I don't know. Should we hope you to your room?
There's no need. Just give me a few minutes to rest. My legs are only a bit wobbly right now. I should be fine before long.
If you're certain. Guess I'll take this chance to rest up too. I grab my water bottle and towel, quickly taking a few sips while drying myself off a bit. Then I go through Keisuke's bag, grabbing his towel as well and taking a seat next to him. I gently run the towel through his head.
Thanks.
How are your legs?
They're fine, just a little wobbly.
Here, does this help? I kneel down in front of the hair, putting my hand on his left calf and gently squeezing it here and there. I've never been great at wind down massages, but I can at least help a little bit. I'll do your left leg first.
It's okay. It feels really nice, thank you.
Of course, anything for you. It honestly only clicks for me a second later just how embarrassing what I said is. So I have to rest my forehead on Keisuke's knee to try and hide myself. Ah, my face is so hot right now. And why do I suddenly feel like everyone's staring hard at me? Keisuke decides to completely skip the changing room near the courts, instead directing us to head straight into his room so we can get changed and shower. The few attendants that accompanied us quickly drop our bags neatly on a nearby corner and excuse themselves to leave on our own. The only one to hang back is Alexander, who stands still for a few seconds staring at the tired hair.
Alex, I'm fine. You don't need to worry.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'll rest for a bit and then take a shower. Would you mind giving me some privacy?
Very well. Call me if you need anything.
Will do.
The moment the two of us are left alone in the room, Keisuke walks up to his bed, basically flopping back first onto it.
Oh, man. This feels so nice.
You're telling me. Throwing myself into the bed feels so damn nice. Granted, I might not be as tired as Keisuke, but it doesn't mean I won't take a soft, comfortable bed any day of the week. Keisuke rolls around on the bed, placing a hand on my stomach as he rests his chin on my shoulder.
Still, I think we had a productive session, even if it ended in collapse.
Wasn't collapse the only possible result given your bet?
Not necessarily. There's always the option to bow out gracefully and accept the loss.
Would you do that?
Good point.
Can't really squirm away from that one, given you literally had the opportunity to do just that and didn't.
Still, thanks for coming over. I've missed you.
Sure, it's not like I'd say no to getting to spend time with you regardless. I'll admit, I've been a little lonely now that you're not staying at my place anymore.
I'm happy to hear that.
Although I will ask, what's with the bed idea out of nowhere?
Oh, right, it's nothing, just a silly idea I had in mind. Don't worry about it.
Okay, I guess I'll have to think of something I want you to do for me.
Yeah!
Keisuke's face twitches uncomfortably as he pulls away from me, getting out of the bed and away from me entirely. Is everything okay? You seem a bit twitchy.
It's nothing, come on, we should probably wash up already.
I guess that's fair. No reason to look too deeply into it.
You mind us sharing a shower?
At this point, not really.
Good.
Keisuke opens his closet door, peering inside to grab a few fresh clothes when I open my own bag, digging into it to find that my Okay. A problem occurred. So, fucking Safari. Fucking Safari. What the hell? Like, damn laptop? Come on. Get it, you're old as hell. Doesn't mean you have to fucking die. Keisuke opens his closet door and peering inside to grab a few fresh clothes while I open my own bag, digging into it to find that my clothes from earlier had been fully washed, steamed, and even folded. My laptop? No. It's the other laptop. Okay, yeah, yeah, it's frozen. Ah, shit, it crashed. Hang on. Hang on, I gotta turn it off and turn it back on. Just kidding, no I don't. Alrighty. Maybe. RIP second laptop. Fucking right? So yeah, it was Finder. Hang on. Is it frozen? It froze. It's a Mac. It's a Mac if that tells you anything. Man, these guys are thorough. I grabbed them heading up to the bathroom when, on top of the entertainment unit near the entrance to the bathroom, I find something I did not expect to see just hanging out here in the opening. Yeah, I gotta turn it off. Hang on. Just to shut down. Told it to shut down and it's not shutting down. Oh, there it went. Maybe. Why do you have lube and a pack of condoms sitting behind one of your video games? Whoa! What the hell was that sound just now?
It's been there for a while. Don't mind it.
If it had been here for a while, wouldn't your attendants have put it away? Your whole room is meticulously organized to the point it looks like it came straight out of a magazine cover. No way you wouldn't notice it.
Seriously, Yuichi-san? Just ignore it.
Why are you getting so squirrely about the whole thing? I just asked a question. You're not normally this embarrassed. Were you hoping you and I would do something today?
That's...
Oh, that's definitely a yes then. Seriously, it's not a big deal. If that was the case, you could just say so.
No!
Wow, I seem to be right on the money. And then that's when it hits me. That feeling I had earlier like he knew something I didn't. It can't be. Does this have something to do with that bet you suddenly suggested?
Hi!
Now that's an extreme reaction. Wait. Seriously?
I mean, that wasn't... It's not...
Now what exactly was your plan here?
Please don't make me.
I grabbed the bottle of lube, holding it up toward and shaking the thing as if to make a point. It's very clearly full and brand new. Keisuke? What was the play here? I try my best to put on a smile, but I'm sure any outside observer would agree. This smile does not reach my eyes. A lesson I picked up a long time ago from Chai-chan's playbook, though I've never had a need to employ it until now. Menacing 101.
Don't look at me like that. I just thought...
Yes?
I thought it might be fun to, if I won, ask you to bet for me.
Hang on, there's a bunch of shit running. Yeah, okay, fuck off, Huion. Did I just hear him right? Let me get this straight. If If pitch is bet as a silly, no big deal kind of thing, if you won, you were going to have me do that, but if I lost, you were going to play it off and pretend like nothing happened while I asked for something silly instead.
When you put it like that, it sounds a lot more sinister than it really is.
This guy really is something. I am a pretty go-with-the-flow kind of guy, but even I can't let this slide. K-kun, I think I decided what I want for my reward.
Huh?
Come here.
Wait, at least let me shower first.
I grabbed Keisuke by the wrist, somewhat forcefully pulling the hair toward me. Nope, this is my reward. One absolute order, remember?
Ah!
Being a little rough, I dragged Keisuke by the wrist until I shoved him into the bed, making him fall backwards onto it and losing his bearings for a second. It's time to collect!
Yuichi-san, you look really scary right now.
I'm totally fine!
No way.
Takes very little effort to... Keisuke? I was told you yelled earlier. Is everything okay? The sudden knock on the door along with Alexander's voice snaps our attention away from what is happening. Hang on. Yeah. I would die. See, I would die. I would be like, alright, it's time to go.
It's
Time to
time
die.
to drink water. It's time to drink water. It's time to drink water.
But no, Alex comes
It's
in.
time to drink water.
The sudden knock on the door along with Alexander's voice snaps our attention away from what is happening. If at all possible, Keisuke's face goes even redder as he stammers out a reply.
Everything's fine, Alex. Don't come in.
For a few seconds, there is silence on the other end, as if the other party were pondering what to do. Then, very well. I would recommend you lock the door. However, I can then hear the large wolf walking off from the other side. I whistle, impressed at how perceptive the older wolf seems to be. Huh. Seems he caught on to what is going on.
Don't say that. That would be mortifying. How are you not embarrassed by this?
I'm not the one that has to see him every day.
No.
I will certainly take his advice, however. Last thing I need is for some concerned butler or maid to overhear us and burst into the room thinking something else is going on. Or even just walk in while oblivious to what is happening. There, now should be all fine.
Are you seriously doing this?
Why shouldn't I? My guy. We gotta do the whole, hang on. Ah! Ah! Oh, yeah, I was sick. I got sick. Turning on the webcam. Wrong button. Yeah, keep them red. I can hear it. Ugh. I feel really uncomfortable right now. I am even more uncomfortable right now. After our shower, Keisuke and I had a light lunch together before we both eventually crashed in his bed. By the time I came to, it was already started to get dark out, and Keisuke had been on his desk writing some song lyrics for God knows how long. We're safe! We're safe! I think we're good. Meanwhile, all my clothes had been completely washed, steamed, dried, and pressed, having been left on the end table to me by Keisuke himself. As a result, once I got home, I had not an ounce of drowsiness left in me. I mean, sure, I still had to get dinner sorted and do a few chores around the house, but man, I might have just fucked my sleep schedule really bad. Why did Keisuke let me sleep that long? Ah! Man, I wish I could spend more time with Keisuke. No! Just lying here and daydreaming won't do. If I can't sleep, I might as well get some studying done or do something else productive. Time to busy myself. I can't let Keisuke be the only one working hard. We're going back to Moonlight Castle after... We're going back to Moonlight Castle. Well, stay safe, have a good night, and I will see you all tomorrow. Also, hiya, Amethyst.